Welcome back to PROUT Rev. Today, we're doing an episode on balanced economy, which is one of PROUT's base concepts. And I have a friend of mine with me to help discuss this topic. Her name is Khader. She's the director of the social justice organization Westpac and also a longtime PROUT activist. So welcome to PROUT Rev, Nada. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Gustavo, for inviting me on to PROUT Rev. I'm really pleased to join you here. As you mentioned, I have been the director of Westpac, a local social justice organization, since 2001. I've also been a student of the progressive utilization theory for more than 30 years. PROUT was founded by Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar in 1959. It's a vision of a just and peaceful world with an economy that works for all people. It's based on local self-reliance, cooperation, guaranteeing all people the basic minimum necessities of life, and ending poverty.
So let's talk about balanced economy. What does that mean in PROUT?
Sarkar gave a really important presentation about this concept in 1986 in Kolkata. He said that in order to build a sound economy, 30 to 40% of the workforce in an area should be directly working in agriculture, 20% in agricultural related industries, such as, well, for example, in New York, craft beverages, flour production, soaps, edible oils, jams, nut butters, fermented products, cloth production. We don't do that so much in New York State. Herbal medicine, tinctures, teas, so much can be produced from agricultural products. And then Sarkar said another 20% of the workforce should be employed in industries that are necessary for scientific agricultural production. So all the needed equipment, the greenhouses, tractors, machinery, irrigation systems, storage facilities, transportation, vehicles. So he said that the percent of people employed in manufacturing and industry not directly related to agriculture should be maintained around 20 to 30% of the workforce. So that would mean metals, pharmaceuticals, furniture, household items, computers, technology, that includes auto and the auto industry, aviation, construction. He says it's important not to go beyond that 30% mark for industrial manufacturing jobs, because it creates a situation of, he called it over-industrialization, which is problematic for a couple of reasons. Areas in the world that are over-industrialized, they need to identify regions to guarantee their own food security. And this can create an unhealthy power dynamic to have a very industrialized part or region that is sort of controlling another region because they need that region's agricultural products. And the other problem with an over-industrialized area is that they're constantly seeking markets for their finished products, and that also creates an unhealthy power dynamic. And we can think of many examples in the world today where this is happening. So the remaining 20% would be in services. It would be trade and commerce, white-collar work. It would include professionals, financial services, transportation, leisure, hospitality, and so forth.
Would you say that the lack of a balanced economy is contributing to the unemployment crisis that we're seeing now during the pandemic?
Well, unemployment can be triggered by serious economic imbalances. if an area in the world is overly dependent on tourism, or if it's heavily reliant on subsistence agriculture, if there's lack of any industry whatsoever, if they are in a zone that's heavily exploited by another region for its finished, like a dumping ground for finished products, if it's suffering from a poor educational system, all of these can trigger unemployment problems. Currently in the United States, we have almost 40 million Americans who are recently unemployed as a result of the pandemic. And the industries that have been really particularly hit, many of them are in the services industry, reliance on, so the travel, tourism, hospitality, entertainment industries have been seriously impacted by this pandemic, as well as small businesses and wage labor.
Can you talk a little bit about the food shortages that we're seeing, the food crisis? Like here in the United States, there's a relative food shortage with, actually there's food being thrown away. The farmers don't have the money to transport their goods to the usual consumers like restaurants, college campuses, because all those facilities are closed. And so they're actually throwing away food. But in poor countries right now, there's starvation going on because many of these poor countries can't export their usual products because the rich countries are not buying because of the pandemic and the social distancing. So talk to us a little bit about the food crisis in terms of balanced economy.
Yeah, this whole subject of food crisis, Gustavo, is really important. After I eat a delicious meal, I usually tell my husband I love to eat healthy, delicious food. And he says to me, who doesn't? And that's actually really a big part of PROUT. Like 60%, 70% of a healthy, functioning economy, local economy, is indirectly related to agriculture. People need to eat, and we need to eat every day. So right now, when you were talking about the food crisis, people going hungry in the United States, all over the world, extreme hunger, it is unnecessary because the planet has the resources that we need to take care of ourselves. That is, if our economy is based on meeting people's needs and not based on profit maximization, which is degrading, and it encourages greed and materialism. So how does PROUT address food insecurity in a food crisis? Well, the vision in a PROUT economy, in a PROUT world, is that every region of the planet is using its resources in a sustainable manner to grow food, to take care of its local population, so that in the event of a terrible natural disaster or a pandemic, food does not need to travel thousands of miles to get to people. The region itself, with its own local transportation network, can take care of feeding the people. And that's the most basic part of life, is making sure everyone has enough food to eat.
Thanks so much for being here today, Nada, and talking to us about PROUT.
Also on July 21st this summer, I'm organizing a webinar entitled Proutistic Solutions to the Mass Unemployment Crisis. And I'm going to be inviting an elected official from Westchester County, along with 2 leading PROUT thinkers, to talk about current issues and Proutistic approaches to resolving them. So again, thanks very much. Hope to continue this conversation sometime in the future, and take care.
Well, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you again here on PROUT Rev.